Long ago, when the night sky was quieter than it is today, there lived a small village nestled at the very edge of a deep and peaceful forest. The trees stood like silent guardians, their leaves rustling softly in the evening breeze. Every night, the children of the village would lie tucked in their beds, their eyes wide with wonder as they looked out their windows, watching the moon cast its gentle, silvery glow over the treetops. It was a comforting sight, a nightly ritual that brought peace to the sleepy village. But one night, something felt different. The air was still, the usual calm was there, but it was a heavier kind of calm. The moon, usually a beacon of soft light, was incredibly bright tonight, almost dazzlingly so. Yet, it was completely and utterly silent. Little Lumi, a gentle child with wide, curious eyes and a heart full of wonder, noticed it right away. Lumi sat up in bed, straining to hear the familiar sounds of the night. "The moon isn't whispering tonight," Lumi said softly, the words barely a breath in the quiet room. "You see, in this special village, the moon wasn't just a silent orb in the sky. It was a friend. Every night, it whispered the most wonderful bedtime sounds down to the world below. There were soft hums that sounded like a mother's lullaby, sleepy sighs that carried all the tiredness away, and quiet, sweet melodies that helped everyone drift effortlessly into a world of dreams. The moon's whispers were like a warm, invisible blanket for the soul. But tonight, there was nothing. The moon was quiet, very, very quiet. A small frown creased Lumi's brow. The silence felt lonely. It felt wrong. Determined to understand, Lumi slipped out of bed, wrapped up in a cozy, patchwork blanket, and slid into a pair of fuzzy slippers that made no sound on the wooden floor. With the care of a little mouse, Lumi tiptoed through the sleeping house and slipped outside into the cool night air. The world was bathed in the moon's bright, silent light. The stars blinked slowly, like sleepy eyes watching from afar. As Lumi walked past the quiet houses, each one filled with sleeping families. At the edge of the forest, where the shadows grew long and mysterious, sat Orin the owl. He was perched on a low, gnarled branch, blinking one large, golden eye at a time, taking in the stillness of the night. Orin was old and very wise. He knew all the secrets of the forest and the sky. Lumi approached him without a sound. "Orin," Lumi whispered, looking up at the thoughtful owl. "Why isn't the moon whispering tonight?" Orin fluffed his soft, brown feathers and let out a great, silent yawn, his beak opening wide. Perhaps the moon has forgotten how," he hooted kindly, his voice a low, comforting rumble. "Forgotten?" Lumi asked, eyes wide with surprise. "How could the moon forget something so important?" Orin nodded his head slowly. "The moon has been watching over everyone for so long," he explained patiently, shining its light, guiding lost travelers, keeping watch through the darkest hours. Sometimes, even the moon gets tired and forgets the simple things. Lumi looked up at the vast, dark sky. The moon hung there, a perfect, glowing circle, but now Lumi could see what Orin meant. It did look a little lonely, a little lost in its own bright light. "I want to help," Lumi said with a sudden surge of courage. "I want to help the moon remember." Orin looked at the small, determined child and a wise smile seemed to touch his beak. Without another word, he spread his magnificent, silent wings and gently, carefully, lifted Lumi into the air. Up they flew, a gentle ascent into the night. They soared past the tops of the tallest trees, their leaves whispering a soft hello as they passed. They drifted through cool, wispy clouds that felt like spun sugar. Higher and higher they went, until the village below was just a tiny cluster of sleeping lights, and the world felt quiet and vast. Soon, they landed on a soft, shimmering path made of pure moonlight. It felt solid and cool beneath Lumi's fuzzy slippers. And there, sitting on the curved edge of the moon, was the moon herself. She was just as round and glowing as she appeared from below, but her light seemed tinged with a hint of sadness. "Oh, moon," Lumi said gently, approaching with quiet steps. "Why aren't you whispering tonight?" The moon let out a long, quiet sigh, a sound that drifted away like a silver mist into the endless dark. "I've been shining so bright," the moon said, her voice soft and melancholic, like the echo in a deep well. "I've been so focused on being seen, on pushing back the darkness, that I forgot to listen." Lumi tilted their head, puzzled. "Listen to what?" "Listen to the world," the moon replied sadly. "To the dreams of the children, to the hopes of the lonely, to all the tiny, sleepy sounds that make the night what it is." Just then, as if on cue, a tiny sound floated up from the world far below. Pitter, patter. It was the sound of Milo the mouse, his tiny paws patting through the damp grass as he carried a precious crumb of cheese back to his family. Then came another sound, soft and rhythmic. Swish, swish. It was Nala the cat, purring as she curled into a tight, warm ball by a glowing window. Then came more sounds, a symphony of the quiet world. Rustle, whoosh. It was the trees, breathing in the night air and letting it out in a long, slow sigh. The clouds drifted with a silent grace, and the stars blinked with a tiny, musical twinkle that you could only hear if you listened with your heart. Lumi smiled, a wide, knowing smile. "The world is whispering to you," Lumi said. "You just have to listen back." The moon closed her large, gentle eyes, and for the first time in a long time, she truly listened. Slowly, gently, she began to hear it all. The sleepy sighs of children tucked in their beds, the soft, even breathing of animals curled up in their dens and burrows, the quiet, colorful dreams floating up from every sleeping mind, like invisible bubbles of hope and imagination. A change came over the moon. The sadness began to melt away, replaced by a warm, familiar feeling. She began to hum. It started as a low, gentle vibration, barely there. Then, it grew into a soft whisper, a sound like rustling silk. And finally, it blossomed into a melody so soft and beautiful it wrapped the entire world below like a warm, loving blanket. The moon's light poured down, no longer just bright, but warm and calm and full of love. Down in the forest, Orin hooted softly, a happy, contented sound. The stars seemed to twinkle brighter, as if they were smiling. The whole night smiled. "Thank you, little one," the moon whispered to Lumi, her voice filled with gratitude. "You helped me remember." Lumi felt a wave of sleepiness wash over them, the moon's gentle melody working its magic. So Orin, with another kind hoot, gently carried Lumi back down to earth. They flew past the happy clouds, past the whispering trees, and landed softly right outside Lumi's door. As Lumi climbed back into bed, the moonlight streamed through the window, filling the room with a gentle, peaceful glow, and with it came the whispers. Soft, slow, safe. The familiar, comforting sounds of the night had returned, and as Lumi's eyes drifted close, the moon kept whispering not just to Lumi, but to every child, every animal, and every dream sleeping peacefully beneath the vast, star-dusted sky. And from that night on, whenever the moon shone its soft, silvery light, everyone knew the moon was listening. Good night.